Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're going to 18th century Spain to build some granaries in this little wallet game, Hórreos. This little card game is made up of just 18 cards. It's a two-player game in which the players are going to be simultaneously selecting actions and taking these Oreo cards, building them out in front of them in order to score the most victory points. You're going to be lining those up and scoring for a few different features that are seen on these cards, all right? Let's go ahead and take a look at the overview. We'll come on back, tell you what I think of it. To set up the game, we're going to shuffle up the Oreo cards. We are going to give each player two of these action cards, the two different ones. So they each have that. We have over here a scoring aid for the end of the game, but on the other side is also this, which is going to face one of the two players. So my opponent has it right now. And then we are going to take one card off of the shuffled deck so that there are two available here, and we are ready to begin. We are going to be taking actions, selecting one of these four, simultaneously revealing them, and then in order to collect these cards and build them in front of us, trying to score, as you can see here, the most victory points. We are going to score for combinations of the crosses and the spikes here. We are going to lose points for mice showing, but every owl will cancel one mouse. We are going to score points for the doors here, and then each group of these pillars is going to score. If there's a separation, then it becomes a new group, and also whoever has the longest wall, the longest development in front of them is going to score 5 victory points. All right, so how does it work? Well, like I said, we have the 4 actions, so let's go ahead and talk about these, all right? The first one I'm going to talk about, the order in which they resolve, by the way, is right here, so I'll talk about them in that order. If I select this one, and when you do so, you put it like that, reveal it, so that the chosen one is, towards the center of the table. This one, it allows you to sabotage your opponents. Whatever card they picked is going to be flipped end over end like so, and that's the action they are going to get. If you select this one, you are going to gather one of these cards from the center of the table. The next one, this one here, allows you to steal one of these from your opponent's supply, and this one here allows you to take it from your supply and actually build it on the table. All right? And again, the sabotage being the first one will force the opponent to flip one over. Now, if both players do the same action, let's say we both do this action here in which we steal, the person who has this first player token here, the chief, decides who goes first. In this case, I'm trying to steal from my opponent. They're trying to steal from me, so they would probably let me go first. I'd steal something, they would steal that back, or a different one I had. And then this reverses so that it's facing me now. Now, once you've done one, you cannot do that one again, so meaning back to back. So when I take this back, I just have to remember, not that one. One of the other 3 is fine. And then next turn, let's say I did sabotage here. The next turn, I can play any of these 3 again, okay? So you can never do these back to back. So taking them from the center means just adding them to your supply. You can take this one or this one. If I take that, we will replace it with another one. And then building them means putting them on the table. I'm going to build this upside down so you can see it, but in front of you like so. So the first one might go like that. The second one I can build like this so that it's completely uncovered, or I can choose to cover some of it. I could choose to do something like that. For example, I could choose to do something like this, whatever you want. And the reason for that is to get some of these pillars built to cover the mice, what have you. So if I do this one and then this one, I might be willing to sacrifice the door in order to put a pillar there so that there's a group of 4 pillars. And then if I get this one after that, look at that. Now I've got a group of 5 pillars, right? So that's what you're doing. Some of them will feature, like I said, the spikes and crosses, the owls and mice across the top. This one here's got 2 owls. So, I might want that one to cancel that mouse there. I might put it here. And then, of course, the length of these sections is also going to be ideally worth victory points if yours is longer than your opponent's. This continues until the cards are gone, or we are down to one card. That will be the last round, and then we are going to score based on all these things here. Whoever has the highest score, the most points, is of course the winner of the game. And that's basically it. So let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. I've been having some fun with these button shy games. I think it's a really cool idea, great way to deliver a game, you know, a little wallet, 18 cards or so, fold that up, put it in your pocket. They're cool, and some of them are fantastic. I've reviewed a few of them, and yeah, some of those are spectacular little games. This one I think is okay. It's not one of my favorites. I don't dislike it. I just don't think it's spectacular, okay? So let's break that down, tell you why I think that. We're just going to go right down the list here. So I'll start with the theme. The theme is okay. The granaries thing, the setting, Galicia, Spain, 18th century, is a very, it seems like a very sweet, gentle theme, and it looks that way too, and yet the thematic ties don't really feel like that. The game is, the viciousness of the game design, I think, doesn't really fit the theme particularly well. I'm also not sure why we're doing the simultaneous selection thing. It doesn't seem to fit thematically what's going on. It's not horrible, and I'm also not sitting around thinking about granaries in Spain that much, but while I'm playing, I mean, or otherwise. But it also doesn't necessarily jump out at me as a particularly cool theme. The aesthetics are very nice. The cards are lovely. Illustrations I like quite a bit. Form factor, like I said, I think is wonderful here. No problems there. The rulebook is also good. There is a mistake in the rulebook. They list the victory points for one of the things as being, I think it's like 4 points in here, but the player aid card says 3 or whatever. Anyway, the card is right. The rulebook is wrong. So, not a big deal. Just go by the player aid in there. Replay value is not bad, and the reason I'm giving it a high score is because I think this is the kind of game that will reward playing with the same opponent multiple times, which is how I think simultaneous selection card games or any kind of game shine, when there is the possibility for bluffing and double thinking. And in this one, if I can get in your head enough to figure out what thing you're intending to play, then I'll know when to play the reversal one. If I want to do something different, if I intend to try to match with you, not match, do I think you're going to reverse my card? Therefore, I'll play it upside down, and when yours triggers, I'll actually get what I want. That's interesting. Every player on every turn, except the very first one, has 3 options only, because the last one you played is not available. So I think the replayability is enhanced by sort of getting to know what your opponent is likely thinking. Game arc. It's okay. There's not a lot of rising tension in this game. It is quick playing, and you'll take the cards, try not to lose them, build them up. That's a fairly quick playing time, fairly quick endeavor you're doing. But the first few turns largely feel like the last few turns. There's not a lot of sort of rising tension of turn angst. Isn't any different later in the game, so I think it's alright of a game arc. The ease of play. Like many of these games, it is very simple to grasp. It's smooth. It plays quickly. Yes, you'll have the sometimes match, and then the player has to decide who goes first and flip over that card. That's about as complicated as it gets, really. Very smooth. And then lastly, tactics, luck, strategy. I like my main issue with the game, and I think this is why I don't really like it, because there's one thing in the game I really like, and one thing I wish was different. I really like the building part of this game. Taking the cards, putting them next to each other, choosing what to hide on the previous card, what to show, trying to go for the length of the building, but also putting the pillars next to each other, hiding the mice. All of that I think is excellent. A fun little puzzly thing. So I really like that. And I really don't feel great about the way in which you do all of that. The action selection in the game. There are 4 actions in the game. 2 of them are jerk actions, right? They're mean. I will steal from you or I will mess you up. That seems kind of crazy to me. That of all the actions available, half of them are take that type mechanisms. And I just sort of put up with that bit when I'm playing the game in order to build something cool. What I mean is, I don't think I would enjoy this game any less if it was a simple drafting card game. If on your turn there were 2 cards up there and you took one and built it, and then the opponent took one and built it, and so forth. Like if that was the whole game, I think I'd like it as much. That's what I'm saying. There's also that mechanism of the simultaneous selection doesn't really build. There are no new actions you discover later. The evolution of what you're doing in the game doesn't necessarily come to fruition in any interesting way. So that's sort of the push and pull I feel with the game. I like what I'm doing in it. I'm just not really loving the way in which I'm doing it, I guess. So there you go. For me, this one's going to get a 6 out of 10. Like I said, cool look. Nice building. Cool, sort of puzzly pattern building, I guess you could call it. But the game is meaner than I feel like it maybe needs to be or should be. The actions are sort of obvious and basic. And I give it a 6 because I am willing to sort of deal with those things and put up with it. It's not annoying necessarily. It's just sort of like, yeah, I picked the thing. Can I now draft a card? Great. Can I build it? Okay, great. That's this part I'm enjoying. So that's kind of how that feels to me. All right. 6 out of 10. If you're a particular lover of simultaneous selection games, then perhaps, you'll like this one even more than that. But as it is, hey, not a bad one. Interesting. There are other better games in this line, though. I definitely recommend you check those out. Hórreos. That's it, everybody. My name is Zee Garcia. I'll see you on the next one.